Hello, my name is Ali Girak, and my speech is on the legalization of marijuana in Florida. What is marijuana? It's a plant known for having many healing qualities and properties, and its scientific plant name is cannabis. It's commonly consumed for both medical and recreational use. There's many ways to consume it, from vaporizing it, oils, butters, and of course you can smoke it. And what's the history of marijuana? Mitch Earlywine, a professor of psychology at the State University of New York at Albany, states that as early as 2737 BC, the Emperor of China, Shi Nang, used cannabis tea as a treatment for gout, malaria, and even poor memory. The drug's popularity as medicine spread throughout Asia and the Middle East, and then to Africa and India, where Hindu sects use it as a pain and stress reliever. And hemp, as well, is another form of marijuana. It grows off the cannabis plant, and it was used largely in colonial times, back to the 1600s and the reign of King James I, all the way to the colonizing of the United States. I actually have a quote right here, Thomas Jefferson: "Hemp is of first necessity to the wealth and protection of the country." And I just thought that was interesting because hemp was used as all of our clothing. You've seen the clothing say a percentage of hemp. The cotton gin and cotton oak replaced that later on. And then, what are some of the health benefits and risks of consuming marijuana? Let's first talk about what is its contents. And marijuana contains a minimum of 60 chemicals known as cannabinoids, of which THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, is the primary one associated with its mind-altering effects. So when you consume it, THC is the one that will get you high. And THC is actually known to treat nausea in cancer patients and chemotherapy. And when cancer patients are being treated, they sometimes have trouble keeping down food. And obviously when you consume it, some of you may know that it gives you the munchies, and that allows them to gain an appetite to eat the food and keep it down. It has a number of healing benefits, from epilepsy patients all the way to child seizures and everything else it can be used to help them. Of course, there are risks, just like any substance or drug that is used over an extended period of time. Addiction is a fairly obvious one. After extended use, many people will say that addiction is not, physiologically, you cannot be addicted to marijuana. No chemical inside of it. Like with tobacco you have nicotine, and with coffee you have caffeine. No chemical inside of marijuana can make you addicted. However, extended use, just like extended use of any substance, will create a dependency upon that. Anxiety and paranoia. In high doses or in more sensitive individuals, marijuana can cause feelings of anxiousness or paranoia. And if you're feeling that, if you try and you feel those type of things, it's obviously not for you. I'm not getting up here and trying to say that marijuana is for everyone. Everyone should try it, because that'd be an ignorant statement to make. It's obviously not for everyone, and we're all made physiologically different, and it'll affect everyone differently. And of course, memory impairment. As anyone who's ever talked to someone who's high knows, memory impairment is common, and but those effects lessen as you come down off of the drug. Why should it be legalized? I found this fact right here. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's annual Uniform Crime Report, approximately 750,000 people were arrested for marijuana law violations in 2012, and that just shows that how much we're emphasizing putting our money and our tax-paying dollars and our effort into getting this drug and its contents off our streets. And I personally feel like we could be doing more with our money and our time and effort as a government to maybe do something more detrimental, get those things off of the streets rather than this. But of course, there's one thing that everyone cares about, and that's money. How much money will it gain? 23 states have legalized marijuana so far medically. And I found this fact. According to the Denver Business Journal, Colorado, the first state to allow the sale of recreational marijuana, is expected to take in $60 to $70 million this year in taxes from legal pot sales. That is, $60 to $70 million is a significant amount of money. They're 11 months into their recreational use right now, and they're boasting over $50 million in their sales just for the government. I also found this calculation, and it says the U.S. stands to gain, according to our calculations, $3,098,866,000 in state and local taxes per year. That's if the federal government were to make it legal based on the 23 states that have already legalized it. And that's more than twice the entire budget of the Small Business Administration in 2013. I found that fact off of NerdWallet, and the reason I found it valid, though, was because I looked up their sources, and it was the Tax Foundation, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, as well as the U.S. Census Bureau. So it's I just found that to be valid. And I have this little video here that I brought up, and I want you guys to just emphasize what I'm talking about here.
As I said in the introduction, what is it about cannabis that makes it that special?
Well, it seems that there are primarily two things. There's the THC, that's what people associate with getting high. And that appears to have a salutary effect on the eyes in case of glaucoma. For people who are suffering from chemotherapy and can't eat, it helps to get their appetite back. And we also know that it is a potent pain reliever, and science on that goes back to the 1890s. But there's another agent in cannabis that is getting a lot more attention now, and that is called cannabidiol. And this is something that you can swallow it by the bucketful. It won't get you high at all, but it appears to have profound nerve protective and brain enhancing properties. And interestingly enough, it also induces anti-anxiety effects. In fact, there was even one piece of literature I read recently suggesting that what psychotic reactions have been reported among people who have used cannabis and then wigged out may be due to cannabis that contains no cannabidiol at all. So this appears to be a very important agent, perhaps useful in the treatment of neurodegenerative disorders. A lot of research
Are they extracting that particular chemical off the...
There seem to be two pathways that people are taking. You've got like GW Pharmaceuticals in Britain that has come out with a whole cannabis fluid spray. You've got people also isolating cannabidiol and playing with that in the lab. I don't know how this is all going to settle out. I mean, as a whole plant person, I'm inclined toward the whole extract. But it does appear that this may also have anti-cancer properties, and that's very intriguing.
So the cliche that I grew up with watching the news, where you had a fried egg, and this is your brain on drugs, it doesn't apply to marijuana.
Look, you can get stone stupid if all you do is sit around and smoke all day, and I don't advocate that. The worst killer drugs we have in the United States are alcohol and tobacco.
Is it addictive?
Is it addictive? I would say that people can absolutely become dependent upon it, but not physiologically addictive. And as you know, that's not just parsing terms. I mean, physiological addiction, you go through very grave withdrawal. But people can become dependent on it, just as they can on any substance.
Okay, and that kind of emphasizes what I'm talking about here. And in conclusion, just the reason I made this speech wasn't because, not only am I an advocate for legalization of medical usage, because people do need this drug, it is a necessity, I feel like, but it's also a big political debate and argument that we need to address, and I feel like, and on November 4th, actually, in Florida, we're voting on the medical usage of marijuana in Florida. So I hope that this allows you guys a little better informative advice on marijuana and its effects and benefits to our society, and vote yes on Amendment 2. Thank you.